Shit. Oh my god, that sounds horrible. Alright, let's fix that. Shit. It's too much? Is it too much coming in? Maybe it's these headphones. Shit. Shit. Okay. It was the headphones. So we know not to use those headphones no more. Yeah. Alright, let's do this. Yeah, man, so I tried everything. What? My business has been, I've been able to make money as an independent artist for like, well, decent money to, where doing my work was the only thing I was doing for like since 2016. And it's crazy because in the last 2 years, my business has went down, right? From recording from people, writing for people, producing for people. When I say people, not artists, really, like for businesses. And it's weird, I guess, with AI, I guess all the businesses found other alternatives or something, or maybe my style's not in or whatever, or I'm still trying to figure it out because after, like I said, since 2016, but the last 2 years it's just been, really the last 3 years it just goes slower, and now I feel like, and maybe it's just like I've been using the platform, the Fiverr platform, since 2016. Maybe it's the Fiverr platform, but I find that hard to believe because I'm not getting. I closed down my website, right? I closed down my website because it was like, well, I'm not making money on my website. I closed down Zoom because I used to charge for Zoom live remote sessions. I haven't had a live remote session in like well over a year, so I closed that down. Yeah, man, I don't know what's going on. Like I'm downside. I feel like I'm starting all over again, and I have to find my next move. Like from coming out of high school, you could tell obviously I'm older, right? sheesh, I'm about to be 50 soon. But coming out of high school, I was pursuing music, and somewhere I made a left. I wanted to go to audio engineering school, but ended up getting talked into going to DeVry because they said that music was there and it wasn't. It was electronic engineering. I didn't know the difference at the time, but as they told me, so I ended up having a 16-year career, in IT, and it wasn't until 2016. And with that IT career, I was still pursuing music the whole time. I just, and let me not talk while I'm doing this. I mean, let me do this but it's crazy because then by 2016, I'm already in my late 30s. I got 3 kids, married, and then all of a sudden, the music stuff wants to start working. Once I start taking all my music off of Spotify, well, I took my music off of Spotify back in 2013. Everything was just getting frustrated. Everything moved so fast because when I started music, you're selling CDs, you're pressing records, you're outside, you're doing this, you're doing that. Then you had to get an email list, websites were becoming a thing and stuff like that. And then when, like around 2008, you got MySpace and stuff like that. And at first, it was hard to get people to go online, right? People were stuck in their ways offline. Like, they wasn't taking you seriously. Like, I would show up on MTV and stuff like that in VH1, but it would be MTV.com, VH1.com. So they were like, people wasn't taking the internet seriously then. And then I think maybe in, not 2000, 2008, MySpace and stuff. And then, but I don't think the thing was really when it really started to become popular, like Tila Tequila and stuff like that, and different artists getting found. And then it became a viable product. But like, circling back, I think about it, 2000, 2001, Napster or whatever, like that. And in the end of the mixtape ever, it's like crazy. My timing was so off because I came in the end, with mixtapes, I came in the end of like the real era. I feel like the real era of mixtapes, like 2003, 2004. It just started to taper off. And then like, so many changes up until 2025. I'm thinking about it. And then it's like, I had to go through so much. I put out mad music, pressed up mad CDs, posters, flyers, t-shirts, did mad shows, performed with some big acts through, 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And in 2013, it wasn't that I had enough. It was just, I was just frustrated, with everything. So I took down my music. And when I took down my music, let's see. I just started engineering. I was interning. Why is this not working? I was interning at R&J Studio. So then I became an assistant engineer. So from like 2013 to 2016, I would do a couple shows here and there and stuff like that. But I was like learning how to do stuff in the studio. And then, I was like, things, 16 years in IT, I kept trying to do music things while I was doing it. And sometimes you'll get burnt because you're doing 40 hours at a job. You'll be like, I'll do 80 hours for myself. Well, you can only sustain that for so long, right? Especially if you have kids and a family, people that want your time. So then, man, that AC's loud, but I'd rather it be loud than I'd be hot. So naturally, while I was still working IT, I was like, I said, I'm gonna make an IT company make money that way. And then I'll invest in music. But it was funny because I've talked about this a lot. Because during that time, I met a guy named Steve Rennie. He was doing a mentorship program. He used to be Incubus's ex-manager. And he's like, Uni, just because you're successful in IT doesn't mean you'll be successful in music. Like, you can't take the money from IT and put it in music and think it's going to relate. I was like, but I didn't really see it any other way. So I was gonna open up an IT company, right? Hold on. So yeah, I was gonna open an IT company, and that was like September 2015. Set up an LLC for it and everything. Then I got fired from my job. I got fired from my job. They told me to go on one last work mission because I used to travel for work, right? IT, I would fly to different spots, do the work, and then fly back home. I was like, yeah, it's cool. I was like, I would like that to be like if I was performing, right? You go and do a show and fly back. But, right, it was for IT. But it was crazy. They asked me to do one last job. And the last job wasn't really traveling. It was right here in the city. Only thing is I had to take a drug test. And I've been smoking weed. Yeah. So when I lost the job, I'm like running around. Let's try to get that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I start running around trying to find work and stuff like that. Because, I don't want to tell my wife, I was already in my late 30s, man. Like, yo, I lost my job for smoking weed. How irresponsible was that, yo? Right, but I thought I had everything in the bag, yo. I was going to leave. I mean, I made it that far. I only had 3 months left. They wanted me to do my whole, just go to the end of the year, do the 3 months, from September, October, November, December, yeah, 3 months. And then that was cool, right? I get the rest of my whole 401k, and then I was going to invest and, and do whatever. So, granted, boom, I lose the job, right? Let me get this down real quick. I think that's 8 bars. If not, we'll do it again. Oh, I need to, hold on. All right. Ah. Let's put it with the metronome, first of all. Keeps moving. Put this at 92. Put this at metronome. Take this off here. Okay. Okay, here we go. Oh man, that ain't it. Okay, that was it right there. Okay, let's try it again. See? Oh, I didn't have recording. No events. Okay, let's try it again. Why is the metronome not playing? Keep it on. Keep it on. Okay. I want it on the whole time. Oh my goodness. This thing is pissing me off, dude. It keeps moving. Make sure the metronome's on. Alright, let's try it again. It moves up there and needs to stay where I had it. Oh, wrong key. Alright. Yeah, so let's see, let's go in the Ranger. Everything is like one level. Just make some random levels real quick. Yeah, so alright, let's keep adding to it. Let's see what it looks like. Duplicate this track without the events. Let me duplicate it again. 3. Yeah, so alright, I think I hold on. Alright, we can do something like that. I'm gonna double it. I'm gonna wait for it to come back around. Yeah, man, so let's see if we can catch it right here. That was off. But I got an idea now. Why is it low memory? I used the plug-in too many times. I didn't even do anything yet. I'm gonna take one track out. I'm gonna make this double to 8 bars. Let's saying? Well, that's how we're gonna do it though. Double 8 bars. So yeah, man, why does it say that? Oh, let's get rid of this. I want to delete this track. Delete track. And we got one tier. Let's go back. So yeah, I started going around looking for, you know, work, places open. I messed it up. All right, so next time I'm not gonna put the plug. I'm not gonna put so many in here. Okay, let's try it again. Oh, I gotta go further. All right, take that out. We had 8 bars. Let's go to 16 bars. It looks like it's 12 though, but let's go. Let's try that again. Because I'm starting at bar 3. Like here's the 2-bar intro. Ah. Yeah. Okay. That's how you go. All right, so 16 bars. Take this out. So I'm gonna tell you in a minute. As soon as, let me just finish this real quick. Yeah, man. Well, I'll do this and we'll. Oh my goodness. This is why I'm not gonna talk until I get it. Because I keep messing. I should have been had it. Take those out. We don't need those. We'll find something for that. You see how it sounds? Maybe it's a 12-bar loop, I think. Lost it all, got it back. Lost it all again, got it back. Lost it all. Not sure if I could get it back. Crazy. take those out. Let me see. Let me see. What would we put there? My legs getting tired from hanging. Sit up. See? Let's try that. Yeah, so I was going around from venue to venue trying to get work, engineering. I was selling everything I had. I was just doing everything, right? And then come 2016, I said, let me try Fiverr, because I was on Fiverr 3 years prior, getting discounted, you know, graphics and work done. Hold on a second. You see something? I like that. You see? Yeah, getting this kind of work. But then I was like, yo, let me try it. So I started trying to sell stuff on the Fiverr platform, January 1st, 2016. I forgot what I did. Okay, got it. Over here. Okay, let's go. Why when I could play it when I... Yeah. Yeah. Okay, you in here. Okay, that's how you end it. Let's go. And now I finally get it out. I'm not recording. Whoops. Overdub. Let's go. Nope. Take that out. And then just leave it. Let's see how this sounds. So yeah, man. That was crazy times, man. Selling everything I had. I started teaching kickboxing during that time because it was like Fiverr started working, but it wasn't just making. It wasn't really making that a lot of money. It was making a little bit of money, and I was engineering, making a little bit of money, and I was kickboxing, engineering, doing Fiverr, making little bits of money, but it was something not IT. Oh, and I had to, so then I started selling everything that I had. Anything that I had that wasn't serving the overall purpose was to make as much money as possible to cover the bills. The rent, the electric, the cable, the phone, you know? And so, I mean, I finally got there, right? The first year with Fiverr, I think I made like 16 grand, right? Which it wasn't full time, but then you take another 16 grand I made, I think, or 12 grand, 16, something like that. I think 16 from the kickboxing, and then whatever little bit of money engineering and selling all my items. I cashed in my 401k to, instead of building an IT company, I bought an Apollo interface, invested in some of the early equipment in the beginning, paying bills down, you know, to do this. So that's 2016. And then year after year after year, I kept getting recognized for more and more sales from the Fiverr platform, became a part of their campaigns. And my business grew. My business was growing. By 2017, 18, 19, people would find me on Fiverr, but they would also pay me direct through PayPal, through Venmo, come through my website. I was charging for voiceovers. I did brands like Nike, AT&T, Pepsi, NFL, NBA, CFL, Uber, New York State, Red Bull, McDonald's. I mean, then I was doing jingles. And this all started from doing some DJ drops on Fiverr. I was doing skits on Fiverr. Then I started doing jingles. I had no business. I did a jingles thing for St. John's University. And then for some other, I forgot what some, a lot of startups. And, you know, it helped me build my portfolio, and then the work was getting more work or whatever. I learned how to get real tight with voiceover and vocals, because then I was doing EDM vocals. I didn't even think, I would have never thought about that as an artist, right? I was doing house music, future bass, hard style, I mean, mad different styles of music I was doing. Some of them I was just recording, some of them I was writing, recording. This is from 2016 up until now. But right now I'm just telling you about like the part where it was like really catching motion. During that time, like I said, I took down all my stuff. Here, I'm gonna add more. Sounds good. So during that time let me say this. It wasn't a big deal. I already took my music down. I was frustrated. It wasn't that I was going to stop music. I was just trying to find a way, first, to take care of my family with the music. So this seemed like the way, because the way that I was doing was not working. I'm making a folder. Ah, man, I forgot the key. Yeah, so all right, I say it. So the way I was doing it wasn't working, right? And so Fiverr started working, started getting the money that I needed. But somewhere along the lines, man, of writing and recording and producing for other people, I wasn't paying attention to any of the work that I previously did, and for good reason, right? Because all that stuff required. I learned so much, right? I learned how to do my own paperwork. I learned about publishing. I learned about marketing. I learned how to manufacture records, how to produce records without being, I was pulling producers in there, engineers, mixing engineers, mastering engineers. I was hiring marketing, hiring PR, hiring DJs. Not DJ record pools, but the record promoter, excuse me. Going out, spreading the word, showing up to the strip club, showing up to regular clubs, showing up to shows, doing all this stuff. And to put so much effort into something, and like I said, it wasn't panning out on and so when I left or got pushed out of IT, not pushed out, I mean, it was on my own doing, I guess, this worked. And it was crazy because I was like, damn, this worked. After 16 years, I was already dang near 40. I was 38, 39. And then it decided to work. Crazy, right? And then here, you know what? I'm gonna put this into a subcategory. We're gonna put this into here. I'm gonna put this. Let's put this to both of these to a sub, and I'm gonna take off the record button. I go to the sub. I'm about to add. I'm moving the pianos to its own submix, so I can filter out the low end, because we're about to add something. Oh, I'm in the wrong spot. No wonder. I'm like, why is submix? Okay. Let's see, EQ. All right, now I'm about to add sub. So yeah, man. So from 2016 up until now, well, not up till now, but for several years. Oh, we don't want to do that. That's too much. It's too much out. I was just trying to take some. All right, that might be good. Look at from 2016 up to this point, I did like 4,500 recordings, 4,500 recordings. And I was able to do full-time work. I thought I was running a business, but what I realized coming up until this point is all I did was own my job. And when my wife said that to me years ago, I didn't get it until right now, what's happening right now. So I guess I'm having this conversation with myself or with you if you're listening. Learn from my mistakes. So yeah, like I said, this thing worked. It's been working since 2016, but then all of a sudden, last 3 years, it's been going weird. I don't know if it's AI, I don't know if it's the economy, I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm falling out of, like I said, people don't have no interest. And it's weird because around 2020, during the pandemic, I was hitting some of my highest, sales, making money. So I paid down debt. And then, I was like, dang, yo, I'm tired of, I wasn't tired of recording and writing for people. What the problem was, I was tired of not getting the credit because these guys were, putting out records, the things that I had wrote and recorded, and they wouldn't give me a feature on it. I thought that was odd, but I guess that's how a lot of the EDM community does it. And so I was like, let me go back and try to do some records, get my name. And it was crazy because once you lose momentum, it's very hard to get it back. And so I remember I took everything down. So I'm like basically starting from zero. So I would try a different little records here and there of my own, or things I would work with other producers, but nothing was catching traction that would put my status as an artist back up there where people would respect me. They just looked at me as like a hired gun. Record, write, boom, I take it and do whatever. It was kind of like how the voiceover is. You don't really get credit for voiceover unless it's like somebody's project and they want to credit you, but you know your work, you know your voice, you add it to your portfolio, you know what you worked on. Music is different, man, and it's important to get your credit, especially when you write something, right? Because then you want to submit it to public. You don't want somebody else collecting royalties on your thing, even if they paid you up front for the music. They could pay you up front to do the work, but you should still be able to collect royalties, man. There's no, like, all that, unless you sign off on that, right? So, I meant to add, I'm over here talking, I'm losing track, my fault, yo. Okay, let's add a sub. You know what I could do too? I could put this in the back. I could like put a reverb on it, sync it to the back. Yeah, put it like in a, that's too much. Let's put it in a room. Soft, small club. So, around 2021, there was an EDM artist, DJ producer that did give me credit. I didn't write the lyrics. I recorded their lyrics that they provided for me, and they still they paid me and they gave me credit. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna move on this now. I'm gonna start figuring out how to put my own records together, because working with producers and different stuff, I had to put that to the side because some producers don't work as fast as I work, or they got different aspirations. Like, I want to make records and put them out. I don't want to sit on records, and I have a way about putting them out. Like, it's not just about putting out the records and just waiting for the internet. It's a whole thing, right? Like I said before, I was going to doing radio, college radio, and making my rounds, and I don't mind doing any of this stuff. Like, to me, that's part of doing it. But if you're working with other people, you want to have a system in place to promote these records, right? And you want to do all these things. So if you're going to do records with a producer or with somebody else, or you're going to do it, you want to hope that they're just as serious, so you're putting effort, because you want to make money from the music, unless you're just doing, and if the person don't do that, or the different people you don't do that, they're not focused on that, or they're focused on this, or they're focused on that, then it's like, I don't know, I felt like it was better for me just to figure out how to do the stuff myself. So what I did is, like, to cut down paperwork and cut down me trying to do too many things at once, I was like, I just try to be the best artist I could be, right? So instead of waiting on beats, I learned how to make beats. I was already learning how to engineer because I was doing voiceovers and vocals every day. So I was learning this as I went along. And then my first beats that I was making, being that they were like for businesses, I was just using royalty-free loops in the beginning. And then I was like, yo, but what happened if somebody calls me out on those things? So that made me get interested in actually beat making. So I took some of the money, I bought a machine. I bought a machine long time ago. And it took me, so I didn't have anybody to show me. So, man, it was just a nightmare. So I would still take jobs, but I know those jobs weren't good. But I needed the money, right? And it made me practice making music. So, being that people would hire me, because I was putting myself out there to get hired, it made me practice every single day because there was money on the line. And I didn't want to go back to IT if I could make this work. I've been waiting for this. Fast forward, right? Like I said, when I got that big feature, and making the money that I was making, I paid down my bills. I get certified in Pro Tools, right? On specialist level, operator level, and then an expert level. I started investing in my equipment, started buying a booth and all that stuff like that. Because before that, I was recording wherever. I was recording in my living room, I was recording in the bedroom, I was recording in the closet, whatever. But it was like, sometimes it would be embarrassing, or I have to do all this workaround thing all the time, wasting time doing a workaround, because maybe I'm going to be on camera for a remote session, which is paying me a lot of money, and I want to look professional. Or I got to do a workaround because I'm in the closet, it's a walk-in closet, and it's closed, and I'm not getting the best recording because the train's coming. Or, when I had the other apartment, I'm in my living room and I can hear the kids outside playing. And I mean, they're kids playing outside, so what are you going to do? You got to record, so you got to find different times to record and different things. Or, when you're recording and the sound's not right, you put a blanket over your head. And I remember my arms used to be burning and stuff like that. So once I got me some bread, after about 6-7 years of recording for other people, man, dude, like I said, I invested in my education, I invested in my equipment, in the facilities to make higher, better recordings at a faster pace and deliver that to the customer, right? So, it's so crazy. And so then once I get these skills, I'm like, dude, I'm about to put my own records out, right? And maybe if I put my own records out, I can establish my name, in this new wave of folks, even though I'm older, and then I can still get my feature money. I could get my writing credits, all that stuff, right? So I start by producing covers and putting them out. They don't really do anything because, how am I promoting? Just social media? Everybody's on social media. And then what's crazy is that then I started making more original joints, and then I submit to AWOL. AWOL is part of the Orchard. Orchard is part of Sony. Funny story, and this is around 2021, 21, 22. And funny story, 10 years prior, when I was doing all the running around doing stuff, I had submitted to the Orchard so many times before. Them, In Grooves, so many different and I was getting no leeway. Caroline Distribution, all this stuff, I got no leeway. But guess what? The AWOL through the Orchard, Sony picked up some of my music, and so then I got a distribution deal with AWOL, right? No money, no nothing. I get to distribute through them. It goes through the Orchard system, through Sony system. And then, so I'm like, okay, that's incentive. I wanted this 20 years ago, but I got it now off of records that I'm making, not with other producers, not with anybody. So I'm like, all right, they don't sound the best, but let me just keep going, right? Let me keep going, make more records, right? And at this time, I get an invite from BeatStars because they got a thing on the publishing side with Sony before they started charging people. And so I did a big body of EDM work and all this stuff. So I submitted that and I got into their program. So they're my publishing admin, and then I have AWOL, right? So I'm like, my goodness, these are things that I wanted 20 years ago. And now I got them. So I was like, let me take my shot. I get my engineering thing and I'm making records, right? This is 2022. I start 21, 22, right? And I start making records. The first thing I do, my wife says, hey, you got a lot of records that you wrote 15 years, 20 years ago. Why don't you start by submitting those records? So I'm making beats. I keep saying I'm gonna put a sub on here. Let me move. Let me do this real quick. And she's right. So I start out by doing records that I have already had to the new beats that I make. Okay, that works. And then as I learn, and then I just keep making more and more records, dude. I just keep making more and more records, submitting records, signing them up on the publishing side, right? And then they slowly start making money. So I'm getting royalty money. Problem is with the publishing admin, you only get paid every 6 months. And then BMI has a thing, I think it's like not even quarterly. It's like, I don't know, every 4 months or whatever like that. My Fiverr money is as I'm doing projects. And mind you, up until this point, it is going great. Right? And then the record money comes once a month, right? So I'm like, let me keep building up these royalties. Let me build up these records. Maybe I can get some shows. I'm submitting to shows. Things are not cooking. I don't have anything yet, right? It's 2022. And I've stopped really being active in that capacity for what? By that time, that was almost 10 years during that time. Yeah, man. So let's see something. I'm gonna run. Let me see. Let me see if that goes good. I'm gonna double it to 32 bars to see what I get. 32 bars. Take that up into here. Hold on, I'm gonna tell you. There's a part in it that I want. There it is right there. Yeah, man, so I'm making records. The royalties are slowly coming up, but the weird thing that happened as I'm putting out these records, right, and I'm like, okay, people are starting to know me as a voiceover artist or a voice actor. I'm getting introduced at events when people are introducing me. Now, I've been an independent artist since 2000, right, even though I was working at IT. The only reason I got into voiceover was because I can record. You know what I'm saying? And I was doing so much more than voiceover. I was making music, I was writing, but for whatever reason that stood out to people, I guess because of the commercials and the different things. And then it's like I said, it's like I'm teaching kickboxing, but I wouldn't want it to be known as a trainer. I play music, but I don't want to be known as a DJ. You know what I'm saying? I'm an artist, man. You know, I'm a songwriter first, I'm an artist. And so I was getting introduced as a voiceover artist, a voice actor. And even when I talked to the attorney and I was, telling them, like, I'm trying to get my royalties up and do different things. And I forgot what, I lost my train of thought. I must have been, oh, he asked me, did I want to go wide or did I want to go deep? And it's like, wide, I guess I looked at it as wide. It's like you want to be doing all these different things, and I was like, nah, I want to go deep. I want to go deeper into what an artist does, deeper, right? And I want to go all the way down. I want to drill all the down. I want to get all the juice, because I feel like as an independent artist, you can make records, and you see artists getting brand deals. Why not do voiceover commercials? Why not do acting commercials? Why not sell merch? Why not? You're seeing artists do all these things, still playing shows and stuff like that. So I didn't want to be like, oh, I'm a voice actor here, and I'm a mechanic here, and I'm a this, and I'm this, and I'm this. Everything was culminating from one thing. Only reason I became a fitness trainer because I wanted to get on the microphone. The only reason that I became a voice actor because I wanted to get on the microphone. The only reason that I'm good at any of those things is because I've been on the microphone as an MC. You know what I'm saying? So it's like those things are never coming out of me. So it's like, how do I make money out of that? And it's like I get all these like pit stops as I'm working through this thing. Like IT was a 16-year pit stop. And then I've been doing voiceover almost 10 years. It's like a pit stop. And it's crazy because as I'm putting out the records and I'm trying to make this transition, the voiceover thing is going slower and slower, slower. Almost now in and that's where I was getting to. Up to 2025, it became almost like it went to a halt. Like I don't even get that work anymore like that. And I very rarely do jingles. But it's something weird happening too. I'm still making beats, but now I'm not making beats or music for commercials. I am getting some artists, but it's very slow moving. I am getting some writing, but it ain't jingles. It's towards artists, but it's very slow moving. Voiceovers are still coming, but it's very slow moving. Royalties are very slow moving. I had to go back to teaching kickboxing. Very slow. It's not slow moving, but there was never a lot of bread in it anyways, unless I go into personal training, and hey, that's got to come whenever it comes or whatever like that. So now, after 10 years of doing this, I understand what my wife was saying when she was like, you don't have a business because if you stopped, then it would be done. You own your job. You're your own boss. And, I was kind of I was like, I got this. And I was like, now had I had the royalties going and the royalties made so much that I could pay the attorney, the accountant, people to market the records some money, now I have a business because that's going to keep generating money and I could do other things, free up my time. But she was right. With voiceovers, I always physically had to be present. Like if we were on vacation in the Philippines or in Miami or in Puerto Rico or in Mexico or in San Francisco, wherever we went to vacation at, I had to bring the equipment. And if I had to record, I had to record, or else I don't get that money. And in the beginning it was cool, but then you start going around like you just want to, when it's time to chill, just want to chill. And I'm telling you, man, because before I was recording like 16-hour days, record, and I can't afford not to record. You know what I'm saying? But it was like all I was doing was I wasn't making music. I was just recording for other people. And like I said, it's like I'm teaching kickboxing, so sometimes my throat might be a little bit funny, and it's making me nervous. Yo, I had stress every single day. People thought that this wasn't, it was stress, but it was a different type of stress because it was my name on the line, right? But imagine you're sick or your voice is cracking or you're tired and you still have to deliver the goods or you don't get paid. Well, hey, you know what? All that stuff worked out, right? But then we're at this point where it's like, you're not even getting those calls anymore. And it kind of feels like when you were making the transition into this. Now it's 10 years later, and I feel like you got to make another transition, another way out. And the problem is that I'm trying everything all over again, right? I'm making record after record after record. I'm being consistent, doing social media, doing all these things. Yo, I even had to apply for jobs. I applied for like over 200 jobs, no work yet. You know, it's so crazy. And I had the nerve to complain while I was doing voiceovers. I got in with an agency based off of my body of work. And I was doing about 2 years of auditions. 2 years of auditions, right? And I only landed 2 jobs in those 2 years. One was for Budweiser, another one was for Cheetos, right? In 2 years. And I was like, I don't want to do this agency thing no more because I'm making money every day from what I already do. And it's crazy because now I'm not making no bread. And now I'm working harder than I've ever worked. Well, I'm not gonna say I'm not making no bread. I'm making little bread. I used to work really, really hard, make a lot of bread. And I'm like, my God, this is a lot of work. I'm getting overwhelmed. But now I'm even more overwhelmed because my income has shrunk to tiny. And I'm working harder than ever, trying mad stuff and applying for jobs at the same time because it's mad uncertain now. It's like before when I would try mad stuff, something would hit, I'll go with this, you know, or the money's coming in, so my bills are low, I got everything paid off, and it's like, okay, I can make these decisions, and I'm making decisions to build for the future royalties, future business, and then all of a sudden everything just cracks. Everything is, you know, and then you try all this stuff. And nothing works. And you get to a point where you're not sleeping at night. You're sleeping, but you're not sleeping good. And it's because you're constantly thinking, what can you do? What am I not doing? You know what I'm saying? What am I not doing? This worked before. And the scary part about it, like I said, it started working for me in my late 30s going into my 40s. And it's been working for 10 years. Well, 9. But on the decline in the last 2. So by the end of this year will be 3 years of decline. And it'll be 10 full years in business. And I still have not figured out what does the transition look like? How do I grow my income all over again? You know what I'm saying? Whether, I mean, do I go back to a job and then because I have my situation set up with publishing distribution, just make records? And then do I figure out like how I had to figure out when I had a regular job? Do I figure out how to do shows? Do I go while I have little bread and go out and do shows and be the best that I could be and try to drum up money that way? Continue to post on social media. I have over 2,000 posts on social media. And that was only from posting in the last 24 months. Because before I was like, I don't need social media. My bread's coming in. So social media has opened up opportunities, but it hasn't opened up the bread yet. You know what I'm saying? I built up from 200 subscribers in 2 years to 8,500 on YouTube. I mean, I got some people on Instagram and TikTok, you know, but I haven't turned it into bread like I want to. Then I was thinking to myself, do I cast a direct line and like let people know, hey, I'm available. I can record for you. You know, $25, 25 words, 24 hours. You know what I'm saying? Order something. And you're going to sound fresh. You can hear my commercials. You can sound fresh. I'll give you a nice high quality vocal. Do I do that? Do I license beats? But then, you know what I'm saying? Like, then you're scattered all over the place again. And, But I am. I'm trying everything all over again. And then it's like, or do I hone in? And everything is unclear, because sometimes I'm honing in, sometimes I'm scattered all over the place. And I was like, yo, it's almost like that sense of when I started before, that sense of desperation, like, yo, I need something to work. And it's like, yo, but I'm driving myself crazy. So what I said I was gonna do, which I didn't do, I said, let me just focus on the music again for a second. Because when Rennie, who I told you about earlier, one of my mentors, he was like, yo, if you want this thing to work, you need to focus on making the music undeniable. And once I did that, everything kind of clicked. And so since I don't know what to do, that's what I'm gonna do, I guess. I don't know. But the problem is I turned on the camera. See, last time, 10 years ago, I wasn't worried about the camera. I could have made 5 beats right now, and I just had the same thing because I'm talking to the camera. So, but at the same time, if I'm not showing the content, you know, when I'm a plan for the content, like I'm giving you my raw, uncut. I'm comfortable in the clothes I'm in. I'm just chilling to make some music. But, you know, I feel pressure when I turn the camera that I'm supposed to be talking to you, telling you stuff. Like if you're in the room with me and then I gotta talk to you, this is the thing that's like where it's always been comfortable, just to like be in the room and do your thing, and then whatever it is, then step outside. So I'm really unsure what to do right now, and I'm trying to figure out. I don't know if this will be the last video that I make, shut it down, but then do I lose momentum from what I'm building because I'm right there on the edge? But I'm like, I did it for 2 years, and it's like 8,500 subscribers. I'm at the subscriber count to make money from YouTube, but I don't have the watch hours. I don't, you know what I'm saying? And I'm on partially the way on all these things, and I've been going nuts. And I was like, I feel like I'm right there at the breaking point, but you whatever. And it's like, do I switch up? Do I stay? I have no idea, yo. For, you know, and it's crazy because it goes to show you that you can have plans, you can have thoughts, you can have everything mapped out and still don't know where you're going. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, but the pandemic showed us that. A lot of people had plans during the pandemic, right? How did that work out? Maybe I see how this video does. But see, then I'm basing it off of this instead of just, you know what I'm gonna base it off of? I'm gonna just think of revenue generating activities and focus on those things, because that's what I need. I need the revenue. I need the revenue. But I do got a show coming up on June 21st and 28th. It's not really a show, it's free shows I'm popping up. But maybe be undeniable there, and I put out my little hat and get some tips. That's what I probably have to focus on. But that's 21st and 28th. We talking about today. How you make money today. Alright, let's put some drums to this thing. I don't know. I have a drum kit already. I don't even know if it's here. Let's see. Does it have any of my drum kits here? I took out the SD card. Let's see what drum kits I got. could try to try it like that. Turn this. So we want to take this. We said we were going to do this next time. Where's that mother ducker at? Like it's supposed to be the other way around. Alright, mother ducker. And then this should be the input. I did it the wrong way. Okay, it is the other way. So we do mother input, mother ducker. See? I messed up with the end, but let's see how it sounds. Take out the metronome. Let's see with the memory. Let's see. hairpin top. Alright, so save. It's at 60%. Can I add another instrument real quick? Just for a little something extra. Let's see if it's gonna crash. Let's see, one more instrument. I think I'm just gonna leave it like this. I'm gonna let it play one last time and then I'm done. So, I mean, if you listen to anything I was saying, or listen to the music, or listen to my conversation, then look, I'm not telling you any of this. I don't want you to feel sad for me. I mean, you probably don't anyways. I'm gonna figure something out. You can guarantee I'm gonna figure something out. But most importantly, I'm giving it to you, right? Because I'm showing you, like, don't play lotto with this. I've been doing it since high school, and it didn't happen for me until later on. And then even later on, as I got older and it was working, I had to refigure it out. So you're always going to be reinventing yourself and refiguring things out, unless you coast and you take the easy path. And maybe I should have coasted and take the easy path, but it seems like even for folks that have coasted and taken the easy path, none of it's easier right now. So choose your adventure. You pick what's right for you. All right, I'm out.